So we have 11, I think right here, the first day. And then there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they've been out, well, I guess I'll show you. I'm moving them much more frequently. They were here for one day. Then I think Abram pulled them ahead, and they were here for 2 days. That's 11 turkeys in there, just 11 of them, and they're 5 weeks old. And they are eating as much forage. They're eating more forage than a 7-week-old broiler. They're eating more than 75 7-week-old broilers, just the 11 of them. You can see Abram came out here and mowed this whole pasture, knocked down all of the wild carrot. Some people call it Queen Anne's lace. The whole pasture looked like that everywhere. And last year we did not get it, or we didn't make it a priority to come out here and cut it. This year we did, and you can see how lush it is. Each one of those white flowers will put out like 50 seeds. So if you manage the pasture well, apparently if you terminate the mother plants as they germinate, you won't have such an issue. But it was solid. And the problem with those is that it makes this woody stem. This is what was all over the pasture. There's a seed pod, except the flowers were white. And they stood about 4 foot tall, all over the place. They're very woody. So I moved them this morning, and I just moved them a second time. Put this here. We don't need that. We have them in this chicken tractor right now, and you can see you can hear them make their turkey noises. They're beautiful. I really like them to look clean and have their feathers be neatly kept. From all the years I've spent and am continuing to spend in conventional agriculture, the coat of the animal, like the hair of a cow, is a major indicator to the health of that animal. And so I would assume it is the same thing for different types of animals, like poultry. These guys are voracious. You can see when we brush hog this, it matted up quite a bit in different areas. And if you leave it in a big pile like that, it gets slimy. All right, the top of this is dry, like hay, but the bottom gets slimy, ferments a little bit, kind of smells like haylage, and it chokes out the grass underneath. You can see it. That grass is kind of pale. So ideally, we would have brush hogged this much sooner when it was shorter, so there was not as much material. But these guys are doing a pretty good job of scratching through it for anything that's here. But you can see, look, I moved them this morning at 9:30. So that's what it looked like at, now I'm doing math on camera, 9:30 this morning. This is what it looks like at 6:30 right now. So that's 9 hours. In 9 hours, they took it from that to that. And it doesn't look like a lot from up there. Then you bring it down. You see how tall that is. And they took it all down. So I was just at Polyface Farm. I'll be making a video on that. The videos are coming. All right, got to get some time. It won't happen this next week either because I'm going on a family fishing trip. But I was at Polyface and they had a tour for the Rogue Food Conference people, whoever had a ticket, of which I was one. And Joel took us around first to the cattle, then to the um, mobile broiler shelters, and then to the eggmobile, then to the turkeys, and then to the Millennium Feathernet, and then the hay shed, and the compost space. And then they did a question and answer. But he took us to the turkeys, and you've seen our layers before. We run those, they're over here now. We run those in two 164-foot long poultry nets from Premier One. And they had two of those poultry nets with 350, give or take 50 turkeys in it, according to Joel and Parker, who I was doing the tour with. And they moved them about every 2 days or so. It was very, very dry up there, and there was hardly anything for forage-wise for them to get where they were at. But that's on purpose because they're not cattle. Their cattle were on lush stuff, but turkeys were not. Um, but it really opened my eyes to how many animals you can grow with not a lot of infrastructure. They had them in two nets, and then they had two extra nets that they would set up the next move, and then they would open up the old net to the new area, herd them into the new net, close it, and then set those other two nets aside to be used for the next move. So each one of those nets, when I bought them, or when my brother bought them, were like $250. So for $1,000, you could raise, or you could have the netting infrastructure at least for 350 turkeys. And you figure you process them yourself if you've got the equipment like we do, and you sell, say you have 300 of them, you buy 400, say you process 350 and sell each for $4 a pound, $5 a pound at 15 pounds each. It does not take a rocket scientist to see that the math works out on that. And they eat a lot of forage. That was one thing with the broilers. The broilers do not. When they're young, a little bit. If you have a cross, like a Freedom Ranger, a more voracious, active heritage meat bird breed, they'll eat a lot more forage. But broilers did not eat that. They would mat the grass down so it would look like that, but they would not eat it. But if we go up here and look, these turkeys, you can see, it'll focus, they're biting off the tips of all this grass. They're coming along. Pull this up so you can see. And they are taking bites of everything. They're not just stepping on it like the broilers. And we have a feeder in here, just a trough feeder, that has their feed pellet. That's about how full it was this morning. They're not eating a lot of the supplemental feed that we have for them. And you can see they're very social. So if I come up here, they come to the front. And then if I come to the back, wait for it, they'll come. They like me way more than the broilers do. And that is what people say. There they are. They do like people more. They're very curious. And then we walk back to the front. And they make their little turkey noise. They're really neat. I like turkeys. They're really cool. So you can see just how amazing this pasture looks. We're running these guys where we have not yet had broilers this year, but where we did have layers at the beginning of this year. So we're gonna process those guys ourselves carefully because they're very strong, much stronger than broilers, which is, this is where the last two runs of broilers went. This was one tractor and the second one. Look at this. This was mowed down to about 4 inches or so about a week and a half ago, and it's right back. It's right back. Where the layers were at is just a dark green. This is where the layers were last. There's the fence line. They were in here. Beautiful. Got really good information from the Rogue Food Conference. It was good seeing those turkeys. I just wanted to share with you guys what we're doing. They'll be in that chicken tractor until they are, till they're about 8 weeks old or so. And then we're either going to run them in a turkey tractor that we'll fashion from my brother Avram's pheasant tractor that he never got to use with them. Or, since we sold half of our layers before winter, we could use one of the 2 poultry nets we have for them, reduce their space by 50% back to what the density was when we had 50, and use the second net for the turkeys. But we're not sure. They eat a lot of forage. I'd like them to eat as much as they want. With how lush this is, we are not hurting for places to put them. So that's about it. They are a heritage breed. They're not a heritage breed. They're like a production turkey, white turkey from Talmine Hatchery. And if you have any questions, I don't know a whole lot, but I might know more than you. I don't know. If you have any questions that I might be able to answer, drop them down. I'll answer them to the best of my ability. Because I know I would have valued that if I was looking to grow turkey, being able to ask someone who had done at least parts of it. So Eggmobile is going strong, working good. So that's it for me, guys. Gobblers. I don't think it's too late. If you feed them a high octane feed, you might be able to get a plump one for Thanksgiving. But that's it for me, guys. I'm going to head home, get some eggs washed and boxed. We'll see you on the next one. More videos to come when I have time. I just hit the turnaround button.